Okay, I went to the barber shop this morning because my hair was getting too long, and they said, "How do you want it styled?" And I really never know how to answer that question. I said, "I just kind of want it shorter than it was when I got in here. That's all I can tell you." And so what I got is what I got, and I've never really had a natural pompadour, but they have put one on me, and I feel like that they perhaps have seen Strange New Worlds and decided to give me a pike haircut. Anyway, we're going to talk about original series by any other name after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and forgive the background noise. We have our neighbor who for the last 45 minutes has been having his yard done, and I don't think he has that big a yard, but apparently the yard people have brought in an entire motorized division, which has been wreaking havoc on our not very isolated studio here in my backyard. Be that as it may. By any other name, of course, is from the Shakespeare rose, that which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. It was used in the, and now it's raining. That's interesting. That'll shut down the noise over there, won't it? We were talking about in an earlier video this week of how it's been so nice to be able to have some rain around here because we have been in a terrible drought. Not as bad as other parts of the United States, obviously, and other parts of the world that have had droughts. But here on the coastal plains, it's normal for us to have rain at least once a week or so. And we haven't seen anything like that for quite some time. So this is really welcome, even if I have to run through it. But what I want to talk about on the show, is this idea of the Kelvins. They came from the Andromeda Galaxy, a 300-year trip, and then crash landed on this planet. And they had to take human form because in order to be able to take over the Enterprise and modify it so that they could make the return trip back to the Andromeda Galaxy, that they would be able to live through the 300-year voyage. And they don't live that long. It was going to be a generation ship, and what they came over was a generation ship. So none of them have ever seen their home world, and who goes back will never have seen what they did. And that essentially is what leads the captain to be able to talk them out of doing it all together. And what we have here is an interesting way for them to deal with the crew of the Enterprise. They reduce them into hexapent shapes made out of some chalky material, and which means that they can all be restored later, but right now they're completely out of the way. They leave only 4 crew members alive, and that allows them to be able to figure out how to convince them that they're going the wrong way. They do it in various humorous ways. Scotty tries to get one of them drunk. The captain tries to romance one. Spock tries to get another jealous, and between them, they are able to convince them that as they become more human-like and have more human-like emotions, that they will be complete aliens. Their race will be complete aliens to the people they're going back to help. And therefore, there's no point in doing it. And they accept that, and that's how the show ends. How it's done is interesting. They are certainly very technologically advanced. They have this way of paralyzing all your nerves so you can only move your eyes. They have, certainly they're not too belligerent because they're not out to kill everybody. Only killed one red shirt in this show. And they seem to be willing to learn what the other species has going for it. And why they decided that it was Kirk, Spock, Scotty, and McCoy that were crucial has only to do with script armor, I believe. One little thing that bothers me about it was when one of the characters by the name of Hanar, who is referred to by 2 or 3 of them as Hanar, when it's time for Kirk to get his attention, he says Hanar. Now, The only reason that the pronunciation would be any different is because they've read it off a script. And William Shatner memorized his lines and saw Hanar and decided it was Hanar and didn't care what every other actor on the set said, but said it his own way. And what it does is it breaks the fourth wall. It leads everybody to realize that he wasn't listening to the other actors. He was just taking whatever he read off the script. Things like that kind of bother me, and Shatner is a better actor than that. He just really didn't care. The plot of the show itself, I suppose, is plausible enough. In a science fiction realm, yeah, they're going to be invaders. Yeah, if they take human form, they're going to have human emotions. The way that the crew dealt with it was a humane one, rather than what I would have suggested, that McCoy just mix up some kind of poison for them and tell them it's vitamins and inject them with it. It would have worked and caused them to lose control of the ship. So that's all that. But the way they did it was a better way, and one that keeps within the way of Star Trek, that we are trying to make friends, not to defeat enemies, and they do just that. So in that, it was a successful episode. It was reasonably well acted, had some character actors that were in, mostly a bottle show, just one quick planet appearance, and then the rest of it was all done on ship, and it worked out reasonably well. We're able to, they make some mention of Amini R7, where Spock is able to make a guard think that they'd escaped, and so they mentioned that. It's one of the times when they mention another planet that they've actually had a show on. I thought that was kind of interesting. And also, they used a lot of the music from the Doomsday Machine, which was good music, and they used it upon going to the Galactic Barrier. Now, the Galactic Barrier is something that happened in the second pilot, where No Man Has Gone Before, where they kind of bounce off of it and limp back into their own system. But in this case, they're able to actually get through it, and without any ESP problems on the crew, interestingly. But I like the special effect they did on it on the restored version, where you have the high-def filmed parts of it and the special effects redone. And the Galactic Barrier was a lot more believable in this. And, of course, the idea of the ship going warp 11, they were able to show a better way that that's done. And their trip toward the Andromeda Galaxy also was made a little bit more believable within their special effects. Things they could not have done at the time that they filmed the episode. Otherwise, except for the always kind of demeaning attitude toward women, I think they did pretty well. I mean, Scotty tries to get one drunk. McCoy hops one up on caffeine, I guess, or something like it. And then Kirk tries to romance the one female, or one of the two females. And then Spock works on the leader, trying to make him jealous of the captain having his way with his crewmate. So all of this together was kind of reminiscent of I, Mud, but at the same time, it was not completely silly. It had its humorous points in it, but generally fit within the confines of how the show should have worked. So I give this a pretty B+, let's say, if I were giving a letter grade on this episode. So I'd like to know what you think about it. Please put it below. And now that the video's done, all the noise has stopped. Isn't that interesting? Well, let me know what you think below. And if you have not subscribed for this, please do so. And click a like button if you like what we're doing. Maybe we'll, if we make a little more money off the channel, we'll buy some insulation and try to isolate the studio just a little bit more. But in the meantime, we have, of course, coming up on Friday, a twofer for you. We have a Babylon 5 review and the review of the first of Season 4 of Lower Decks. So Tune in for that, and we'll see you then. Don't go far.